There's only 3 things guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and diabetes. Well, probably not the last one, but yeah, it's been quite a bit of time since I've been away making videos here. We kind of got locked up on a busy schedule and dealing with some health issues, man. But yeah, one thing I realized is at 29 years old, getting diabetes is like, guys, seriously, like take care of your health, because it will slow you down. You are not invincible as you think you are. Eventually you will pay the price for that. Like I did. But we're back. We're going on a bit of a run, man, and there's a lot to catch up on. A big summer ahead, a big summer run ahead, I want to say. But I definitely wanted to start off with that, and especially, you know, spring, you know, it's probably the best way to start it out. So, and before I get into the video, I just want to say, not only am I back, but it kind of seems like everybody in the community is back, man. David Livick's back to making videos steadily again. The crew, Hip Hop Corner, seemingly they look like they've been going on a roll and they're back to making videos. The growing community of content creators around the space, it's growing, man, and I kind of love that. It's growing, it's kind of active again, and I love to see that. There's also a good amount of topics I definitely want to get to, because there's quite a bit going on, man, as of late, that I definitely want to touch up on. But we'll do that. We'll see that for a separate video or separate other videos, because I'm going to be going on a bit of a run, I want to say, this spring summer. So I'm going to be going at it, and especially with today's video, man, there's so much to talk about. One of the things I want to do is actually, for the spread of the next few videos, I'm going to be doing reviews, which is something I don't typically do too often. I know artists send me their projects, their singles, and everything to listen to, and I don't really touch too much on it, but I figured it kind of deserves its justice to kind of go around the space and kind of just give a look at what people are putting out. And if you're looking for something interesting to listen to, then hopefully this is the video for that. So ideally, to catch up on everything, this will be like a batch upload of different reviews of different projects and kind of just condensing it into a consumable format for you guys. So yeah, it's gonna be a bit of catch up, but yeah. And to start that catch up, we're gonna do a little combo, man, and we're gonna give you a review of Hulvey's It Could Be Tonight and Sipes Renaissance Era, you know what I mean? So we're gonna get into it, starting with Hulvey. I want to preface by saying this, going back to last year, I remember I had made a video just talking, entitled, I guess, like, if Hulvey's leaving Reach Records, and that was made like ages ahead, well, not ages, but that was made like a timeline ahead of Hulvey announcing his departure from Reach and announcing that it was going to be his last album. And I'll link the video below in the description if you want to go watch that video from exactly a year ago, and just talking about that, because I do think it's an interesting video, just talking about Hulvey's growth and everything like that, and it definitely plays into the narrative of this review right here. It Could Be Tonight is really a project that speaks to not only Hulvey's past self as an aspiring Christian artist, but also to, I want to say it's like a letter to every Christian artist out there that's aspiring to really, truly, if it's put on their heart, to truly do this for Christ. I want to say it's like a penned letter to those people as well, if you do plan on pursuing this endeavor of Christian hip-hop and all it has to offer. And you really get the sense of that on his second track, Survival, when he talks about, heard they want to sell my music while the master is coming back, joke on you, the joke on me, the father's business stays intact. And a little bit of a bar right there, man. That kind of gives you the sense of where this project is going at. Now, I want to say that this project really stringed along a strong narrative of, did I live out the vision God gave for me, or did I live out my own vision? And that was really a struggle for me early on. I'm not gonna lie to you. Early on in my early listens, I remember me and friend of the channel, man, Curtis, shout out to Curtis, man. We always go back and forth on different music takes and everything. He has some pretty strong takes that I like about music, but we were kind of just struggling with defining what the album was about early on, because It Could Be Tonight is a literal catchphrase and slogan for Jesus's return. Like, we literally thought like it was centrally surrounding that, but over time we kind of realized it was a bit less about that and more on the aspect of just, what am I going to leave this earth with when Jesus does return? It's more about, again, did I live out the vision God made for me, or did I live out my own ambitions and vision? Okay, now one thing I'll say is that if there's one criticism, this is probably the only criticism you'll actually hear about me about this project, and that is that I actually did not like the mixing on DC3's verse. I didn't really like it. I didn't really like it. It kind of threw me off, especially the first time I listened to it, because I was really looking forward to hearing kind of like the clarity within his vocals. It kind of threw me off. I'm not gonna lie. I liked his verse, but the mixing kind of like threw me off a bit, because I felt like I couldn't hear his vocals as much. But aside from that, like the content in the song and what it's about, it's great overall, so I like that. All right, man, so I want to say OCDC really turned me up. Like, not just that, but I mean, like, it really turned up the mood of the album, and it's really thanks to the production side of it. Xander, who Hulvey shouts out on the project, he really did his thing. He really did his big one on this album, just because the album really keeps you interested through the tag team duo and collaboration of Hulvey and Xander, they really show that they really blend well together on this project. And it's definitely a project that'll keep your ears kind of just like in tune all the time, constantly. So I really like that aspect, and it shows up all throughout the project. 9net was great because it really showed the flexibility of Hulvey to kind of like bounce around different subject matters and different perspectives. But also, I mean, like, man, him and Tory have not made a collab song in a while, I think. So they always work super well together. So if you're an enjoyer of Hulvey and Tory working together, this song didn't disappoint either, man. I really like that as well.
I just can't control what other people are going to do, bro. And I think that's the wisdom I've been starting to get, is that I have to focus on what the Lord's doing in my heart. The moment I start getting in this spot of like, nah, but it's not being done for me. It's not being done for me. This isn't fair. This is hard. This isn't right. This should be right for me. Even though those things could be true, Jesus is like, yo, man, like your shirt and your jacket.
Young Ruler to me, though, is where I guess you get the peak threshold of, I want to say, what this project is really about. American Idol's had a strong message regarding everything, but I want to say Young Ruler is, I want to say, to me, it's where the album is at its core. Just because one song really speaks to the consumerism of American culture and kind of the things that are idolized. Think of it as American Idol's part 2, right? But I feel like it really touches on that part. And then the second thing, when Hulvey repeatedly references the young rich man, he doesn't X himself out of the equation, as he also mentions himself as the young rich ruler. You know, giving a bit of the chronicles of what a Christian artist can go through when pride and greed can kind of get in the way of certain things, and how you quickly hit the ceiling of Christian hip hop or just Christian music in general, and then that pride and greed and all these things start to build up. You know, your typical Christian artist isn't like Jesus. They are human. And so this was Hulvey's, you know, I guess you could say, fight for himself in fighting a lot of this greed and pride he was dealing with. And I guess it's not till halfway through the song that, you know, the Holy Spirit comes in and the pace, the switch up. I liked how it slowed down, and Hulvey just narrates how at one point he wanted to get out of his Reach deal, and it kind of seems like being locked into that Reach deal was good for him because it kind of humbled him. It gave him some sense and direction of humility as to where he was at. And I mean, luckily Reach let him out of his deal, but you know, it's like that saying, pride comes before the fall. And I feel like that's the messaging and packaging I got out of this song. I won't speak too much on influencer because I feel like everybody around the space has kind of just covered it and kind of tugged at the whole Kanye bit and everything like that, which it's pretty cool, man. I mean, I think one thing I'll say though is that it shows that the Christian and secular space aren't as far apart as we make it out to be, and that these artists are pretty much in earshot within some of the biggest artists when you account for the managers, the producers, and the connections that people know of. So okay, rich like this. One thing I'll say about the song is that I really, now Keon Boone on the feature, one thing I'll say is that I really liked hearing Keon rap on a faster tempo and cadence, just because like I guess like cadence, tempo, and you know, flow wise, like I feel like sometimes I don't hear him switch up his flows enough, and maybe that's because I don't listen to enough Keon Boone. I don't know, but I definitely want to say I really like this song just because I enjoy hearing Keon switch up the pace and really like switch up his flows, man. Just from a technical standpoint, from a fun standpoint, man, it was great to hear. One thing I'm not gonna lie about is that Speechless, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of reminding me, I'm gonna be young soon, man. I'm gonna be young soon. It kind of shows me how long I've been in the space for a while now. Hearing his little brother rap, I didn't even know he had a little brother. But hearing his verse was kind of like, I was like, wow. It really shows you how long I've been listening to Christian hip hop and just how long it's been since Hulvey has been on his Reach contract. So to hear his little brother makes music now in 2026, it's kind of crazy to me. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, that's all I really gotta say about it. Heroes really pays homage to different heroes in Hulvey's life. Lecrae, which I think is a great way to wrap up like towards the end of the project and everything, you know, just as a thank you. It was really dope to hear that aspect of Hulvey and that storytelling. It's just a nice way to wrap up his contract at Reach. And I also find the song is a good way to wrap up the album, just because towards the end he kind of, I guess, reads a letter that was given to him by somebody, I guess like a kid that looks up to him, or maybe that kid is him, I don't know. But what I liked about it, when you fully hear the song, when you fully hear the project, is that it really shows you Hulvey's beginning to end as to how he was introduced into the music space, and the amount of maturity he's especially taken on. I really enjoyed seeing that, and I really enjoyed hearing that.
I think tides are turning in my career where I'm able to make some of my own decisions a little more. Now I feel like I'm getting in a spot where it's like I'm ready to just run with the Lord and make records and drop. Touring has changed a lot of my mindset on that because I had to become kind of independent in my touring. Like no one owns my touring, I do. So I've had to learn how to run a whole entire company, business, ministry, me and my wife and my team.
He's not just some 19-year-old that's trying to make music for God or just, you know, trying to drop as much as possible with the world ahead of him. But now he's kind of just looking back and realizing he's matured now. He's his own man, he's his own person. He's essentially realized that there's a bigger burden and responsibility that's been taken on being a Christian artist and what that means to represent Christ. Whether if it's the spiritual responsibility, the financial responsibilities, whatever it is you want to name. All I can say is that it just really showed that Hulvey matured a lot. Other than that, that's really it. The last song, Forever Shine. Again, this project, even though it was regarding Hulvey and just leaving a legacy on this earth before Jesus returns, again, I just gotta mention that Xander's production really spoke for itself throughout this project. Really just the tag team, the collaboration. So shout outs to Xander, man. I enjoyed the project. I don't know what I'm calling the project. It was an album, you know, it was a full body of work, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, man. All right, now if you're an enjoyer of hip hop, I think this album is truly for you. If you're someone that's curious about faith-based bars, I think this is a project you want to listen to. Syph and KRL, man, this collab project, second on this video, is called The Renaissance Era. I want to say it's always nice to have like different sounding artists just offer something to the space, man, because a lot of artists, especially if it's outreach, I mean, like, it's just always nice to have different inputs and voices around the space, man, and that's definitely something you get out of this album. All right, man, now Syph on the intro, he had a good kick to start off this album. I really liked him starting it off, and KRL as well. Like, to me, he's an example of what I mentioned earlier about how different sounding this album is. I really liked his input. I really liked, I don't want to say if it's per se his rap voice, but like just the confidence he had as an artist, I really enjoyed that. So he really started it off strong, man. I know one thing I'll admit about Syph on this project is that I will admit I wasn't dabbling too much with Syph's music early on, within the last year, I want to say, or so, just because I remember early on, like, checking his music out, like, he kind of marketed his music, kind of comparing himself to Kendrick Lamar, and typically for me, I was kind of like tuned out of that, because for me, my personal preference is I want to hear not only your story, but I want to hear your sound and your voice. Artists who can define their own direction via, like, through their sound. I'm a big enjoyer of that. I'm a big enjoyer of people like expounding and expanding on that, and so I will admit that, but listening to this project really flushed that out and filtered that out for me. I really got the sense that this was an attempt at him just being himself, doing him, and really attempting to expound on that. And so hopefully if you're watching this, Syph, keep being yourself, you know what I mean? Keep doing this, because I want to say I definitely like that about this project. Though I understand that a lot of that stuff, it's really ultimately like part of the game. It's really marketing yourself, which we're going to make a video about in a little bit, because Nika was talking about that the other day, about Christian artists marketing themselves through comparing themselves or remixing other artists. We got to talk about that. But either way, I understand it for the average artist. There's nothing wrong with doing it. It's really a question of like, are you biting off more than you can chew? But yeah, back to this album. This album really tugs on just the issue, just the broader issue of the commercialization of hip hop and how that is a big issue as it does affect artists. And if you're an average Christian music listener, Christian hip hop listener, you might be wondering how that affects CHH. And we'll get to that in a bit, but it does trickle down and affect it to varying degrees.
I'm gonna ask you, if hip hop is dead and it's in a vulnerable state, what role did you play in it? Stop calling everything hip hop, man, because everything ain't hip hop. I'm doing God's work. You know what I'm saying? Just because I don't have nothing to pass around for people to put money in the bucket don't mean I ain't doing God's work. I feel like I'm doing God's work. You know what I'm saying? Because these ghetto kids ain't God's children.
Now, one thing I will admit is I'm not a hip hop purist. I'm not gonna lie. Even though this is a CHH page and everything like that, I'm not as heavy focused as a purist as other people I've been blessed to come across. But like, don't get it twisted. I can catch a bar, you know what I mean, here and there. I can catch quotables and all that. But I really got the sense and depth that this is really for the culture. This is really for purists of hip hop. And I really only bring that up to mention that personally for me, I have an ear for production. That's kind of where like I'm more on the end of in matters of that stuff. So I don't know who produced the project, but I really liked how the direction of the production was really to try out different things, and just the ambient piano, man, on Haunted. I really liked that. It really locked me in.
I used to be the same one casting spells. 2 years later, can't find a rap with a curse in it. Kill the sin, heal the person, give him all the percentage.
And really got me focused on just some bars, man. The guys on this project were throwing Syph, KRL, I think Live Dom, if I'm saying his name right. But that's what I liked about the project. Overall, this is a project that speaks to hip hop purists, but it can relate to both if you're someone that had a love of hip hop in the past, but also you want to, you know, you're curious about exploring faith-based bars and theology behind that. I really think you will enjoy this. There is an audience for that. And this album also showed me that just how important it is that hip hop can systematically trickle down to the effects and influence of CHH, and how not paying attention to the fundamental principles of hip hop, not paying homage to that can really affect like the quality of music music that's being put out, because that does matter to some effect, especially if someone wants to use the music to reach somebody. The space of CHH often forgets that there's always been a community of people who've always appreciated pure lyrics, and if you're one of those people in the audience that appreciates that, then this is an album for you if you're a true lover of hip-hop and if you're curious about faith-based lyricism and bars. And to cap this off, I really enjoyed it. The more listens, the more spins I got in. But if you're a true purist and lover of hip-hop, I think you'll walk away with something off right first listen. I truly believe that, and it was enjoyable to listen to. So you should definitely tap in and check these artists out. Tap into this project, the Renaissance Era, and yeah, that's it. All right, man, so that's about it. We're gonna be playing quite a bit of catch up in the next few videos, as we got a long way to go this summer, and the fun doesn't stop here, man. So thanks for watching, and definitely check those projects out, and that's about it. Take care, guys.